The Wave and the Letter Chain. Ilara was 17, but she felt more like a forgotten footnote in the history of Oakhaven, the small seaside village where the salt air was thick with the scent of brine and old secrets. She sat on the pier, watching the tide erase the day's footprints, just as time seemed to be erasing her own past. Every morning, the clatter of Mrs. Dovey's bicycle was Oakhaven's reliable heartbeat. Mrs. Dovey, the postwoman, knew every mailbox, every gossip, and every dusty corner of the village. Today, her bicycle basket held an anomaly, a thick, cream-colored letter that had slipped down the side, missed in the morning rush. Ilara was helping Mrs. Dovey sort the late post when she spotted it. It was addressed only to Leo, the old lighthouse keeper's cottage, and sealed with a melted indigo wax bearing the faint imprint of a tiny, perfect wave. It looked more like a treasure map than a piece of mail. The cottage was silent, draped in ivy, smelling of old paper and rain. Ilara knocked softly. Leo opened the door. He was a boy her age, with quiet eyes and hands stained with ink, and he never spoke. He communicated only in the flowing script of his letters. Leo took the letter and opened it instantly. His eyes moved quickly over the elegant words. Then, without a sound, he walked to a small desk piled high with stationery, wrote furiously for 2 minutes, and handed Ilara the freshly sealed envelope. He pointed once toward the harbor. The next delivery was to Mr. Heron, an old fisherman whose boat was named Quiet Harbor. Mr. Heron smiled a toothless, knowing smile as he read Leo's message. "A question of the tide's turn, is it?" he mumbled, before writing his own reply on the back of an old navigational chart. Back at the lighthouse cottage, Leo read Mr. Heron's reply. He paused, looking past Ilara to the window, where the first stars were appearing. Then he turned, dipped his pen, and wrote a letter addressed only to E, her own initial. Ilara's hands trembled slightly as she broke the small, wave-imprinted seal. "The current always returns to the place it began, Ilara. Look beneath the oldest, most forgotten map. There was no signature, but tucked inside was a small, smooth river stone, identical to one she had kept hidden since childhood." Confused, Ilara showed the note and the stone to Mrs. Dovey the next day. The elderly woman's eyes softened with recognition. "Leo's kin kept you safe, child. Your mother's final letter, years ago, was sealed with the same wave and spoke of this stone. Leo and his family have been keeping the connection alive, silently, until you were old enough to find your way back." Ilara understood then. The silent letters weren't just a chain of advice. They were an invisible, loving net woven by the village, holding its lost children until they found their anchor. She looked toward the lighthouse and smiled, a silent message of thanks carried on the sea breeze, knowing she was finally home.